As I sit here, now at 80 years old, I often find myself reflecting on life, on all the lessons that came slowly, piece by piece over the years. If I could go back and have a conversation with my 50-year-old self, oh, the things I would share. Life has a way of teaching us what matters, but it's not always gentle or clear about it. Sometimes we learn the hard way, through experience, through heartbreak, through the things we can't control. Imagine if we could sit down with our younger selves and pass along the wisdom we know now. Maybe, just maybe, we'd save ourselves a few sleepless nights and a few regrets. If you're watching this and feel like life still has mysteries you're trying to unravel, stick around. Today I want to share some truths I'd pass along to anyone willing to listen. Truths that could make the years ahead richer, more peaceful, and maybe even a little simpler. And here's the interesting part. Each of these lessons is something I didn't fully understand until now. And if any of this resonates, if you've had similar thoughts or maybe even a lesson of your own to share, let me know in the comments. Sometimes the simplest words have the biggest impact. 1. Learn to embrace boredom as a gift. When I was younger, I thought every moment needed to be filled with something, work, entertainment, or just keeping busy for the sake of it. But as I grew older, I realized something strange. Those quiet moments, the ones I used to rush through or ignore, actually held a lot of peace. I remember meeting an older friend of mine, Sam, who was in his 90s, and he had this incredible calmness about him. I once asked him, "How do you stay so content?" He looked at me, smiled, and said, "I just learned to sit quietly without needing anything else." Sam used to call it the art of doing nothing. He found joy in sitting by the window, just watching the leaves sway in the wind or listening to the sound of birds. In today's world, we're surrounded by distractions, TV, phones, constant noise. But one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is the ability to sit quietly, to be okay with a little boredom. It's in those moments that you find clarity, peace, and maybe even answers to the questions that have been bothering you for years. 2. Protect your energy by choosing who you spend time with. As we age, we start to realize that not everyone who comes into our life deserves a front row seat. I remember a friend from my 50s, Margaret, who was always surrounded by people. She loved socializing, but over time she started noticing something strange. After spending time with certain friends, she felt drained, like her energy had been pulled out of her. One day she confided in me and said, "I don't know why, but some people just leave me feeling tired and empty." Over the years, Margaret started being more selective, gently stepping back from relationships that didn't uplift her or bring her peace. It wasn't easy, but she realized that guarding her energy made room for people who truly cared. If you find yourself feeling exhausted after being around certain people, take it as a sign. Protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's necessary. Surround yourself with those who bring positivity, who lift you up, and who respect your peace. Life feels a lot lighter when you let go of the ones who don't. 3. Worry less, live more. One of the biggest lessons I learned later in life was that worrying is like rocking in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. I remember my neighbor Joe, a retired teacher who always seemed so calm. One evening, as we sat on his porch, I asked him how he managed to stay so peaceful, especially since he'd been through some real hardships in life. He looked out into the distance and said, "I just stopped worrying about things I couldn't control." Worrying never changed a thing for me, but it sure did steal a lot of happy moments. Joe had a point. All those hours spent worrying about what might happen, what people might think, or what could go wrong. None of it ever made life easier or more fulfilling. If I could go back and tell my younger self one thing, it would be this: Don't waste precious time and energy on what you can't control. Replace those thoughts with gratitude for the things going right, the people who love you, and the small moments of joy. It's amazing how much lighter life feels when you start letting go of unnecessary worries. 4. In my younger years, I used to treat sleep like it was optional, something I could skip out on if I had other things to do. But as time went on, I began to see just how powerful a good night's rest really is. I remember my Uncle Henry, a man who had lived well into his 90s, once told me, "Sleep is the best medicine money can't buy." He was always full of energy, sharp as a tack, and had this glow about him. One day I asked him his secret, and he simply said, "I respect my sleep." Uncle Henry would go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. He believed that his consistent routine kept his mind clear and his body healthy. He often said that sleep isn't just rest. It's a chance for the body and mind to recharge, to heal. So if there's one habit to cherish, it's quality sleep. Treat it as a non-negotiable. When you're well rested, life feels brighter, decisions come easier, and challenges don't seem as overwhelming. Remember, a well-rested mind is a powerful one. 5. In my 50s, I was always too busy to make time for exercise. I thought it was something only the younger folks needed to worry about. But over the years, I saw some friends around my age who stayed active, and it made a world of difference in their health and happiness. One friend in particular, Lucy, was in her late 80s and still went on daily walks. She wasn't running marathons or lifting heavy weights, just gentle walks in the park every day. I once asked Lucy how she kept her motivation, and she said, "Moving my body keeps me moving forward." It stuck with me because she was right. That daily walk wasn't just about physical health. It was about mental clarity, emotional balance, and keeping herself grounded. Exercise doesn't have to be intense. Whether it's a short walk, some gentle stretching, or a bit of gardening, the goal is to keep moving. When you make even a small amount of movement a daily habit, you'll feel the difference, not only in your body, but also in your mood and energy. It's a gift you can give to yourself at any age. 6. When I was younger, I never thought much about what I was feeding my mind. I'd watch whatever was on TV, read any magazine lying around, and didn't really think about the effect it was having on me. But as I got older, I noticed that what I consumed mentally had a huge impact on my peace of mind and even my outlook on life. A friend of mine, George, was the one who opened my eyes to this. He had a simple rule: guard your mind like you'd guard your home. George would avoid negative news, didn't engage in gossip, and always filled his day with things that inspired him. He said, "The things you let into your mind shape the life you live," and he was right. Just like with food, what you consume mentally matters. Choose what you read, watch, and listen to carefully. Feed your mind with positivity, knowledge, and things that lift you up. You'll find that when you're selective about what you let in, life feels calmer, happier, and more fulfilling. 7. Build relationships that truly matter. As the years pass, you start to realize that not every relationship lasts, and that's okay. I learned this lesson from my old friend, Ruth. She was a kind-hearted woman who, in her younger days, tried to please everyone and maintain countless friendships. But as she grew older, she told me something that stuck with me. The best friendships don't need a lot of maintenance. They're the ones where you can pick up right where you left off, no matter how much time has passed. Ruth had a small circle of friends, but each of them was like family to her. She believed in quality over quantity when it came to relationships. She once said, "You don't need many friends, you just need real ones." As I grew older, I understood what she meant. The friendships that matter are the ones where you feel seen, valued, and accepted. So, If you're holding on to people who bring you down or drain your energy, it might be time to let go. Focus on nurturing relationships that add joy, support, and meaning to your life. These are the people who will stand by you through thick and thin, making life's journey richer and more fulfilling. 8. Learn to forgive, especially your family. As I reflect on my life, one of the most powerful lessons I've learned is the importance of forgiveness, especially when it comes to family. I remember my cousin Bill, who held a grudge against his father for years over a family disagreement. It weighed on him deeply, but he was too proud to let it go. Eventually, Bill's father passed away, and he was left with regrets he could never undo. After that, Bill told me something that changed my perspective. He said, "Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer." It was a hard lesson, but it reminded me that family isn't perfect. None of us are. Over time, I learned that forgiving those closest to you doesn't mean forgetting or excusing their actions. It means freeing yourself from the weight of resentment. Forgiveness brings a kind of peace that nothing else can. It's a gift you give yourself, allowing you to let go of the past and focus on what really matters. Life is too short to hold on to grudges. By forgiving, you open up space for healing, understanding, and maybe even a fresh start. 9. Embrace the changes that come with aging. As we get older, it's natural to look in the mirror and notice the changes: wrinkles, grey hair, maybe even a few extra aches and pains. For a long time, I used to wish I could turn back the clock. But then I met Martha, a wise woman in her late 80s, who had the most graceful outlook on aging. She once told me, "These lines on my face, they're a map of my life. Each one has a story." Martha taught me to see aging not as a loss, but as a journey. She embraced every line and every grey hair as a badge of honor. She often said, "Aging is a privilege not everyone gets." Over time, I realized she was right. Every year, every change, every sign of aging is proof of a life lived, of experiences gained, of memories made. Instead of fighting the natural course of life, try to embrace it. Celebrate the wisdom that comes with age, the memories that shape who you are, and the resilience you've built along the way. When you learn to see aging as a gift, life feels richer, and each day becomes something to treasure. Reflect, embrace, and live fully. As I sit here, looking back on these lessons, I realize that life is a journey best appreciated in hindsight. If you're listening to this now, you have a gift, the chance to take these lessons to heart before it's too late. Each of these points isn't just advice. It's a reminder that a meaningful life is built not on perfection, but on growth, forgiveness, and gratitude. As we get older, it's easy to fall into regret or wish we could have done things differently. But remember, every single experience, good or bad, has shaped you into who you are today. Embrace it all. Live each day with purpose, surround yourself with those who matter, and never stop appreciating the little things that bring you joy. If any of these lessons resonated with you, I'd love to hear which one. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Sometimes, a simple comment can inspire someone else and remind us that we're all learning and growing together, no matter our age. Thank you for watching, and remember, life is short, so make every moment count.